Well, hello there. I figured I should do a video because of the 247th birthday of this nation. It was yesterday. Yes, I realize that this is a July 4th message being put out on July 5th. And the reason for that is I was kind of gauging things yesterday and last night. I had conversations, observations, and it occurred to me that maybe I should talk about them. For those of you that aren't in the United States, because I do have subscribers around the world. Yesterday was the 247th anniversary since July 4th, 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was signed, ratified by the Continental Congress. The time when the politicians finally admitted that there was nothing else that could be done, and the only thing left, the only course left to us to handle our grievances was warfare. And it should be pointed out that it only took them 442 days from when the first shots were fired for them to finally come to that decision. April 19th, 1775, an actual holiday on the calendar called Patriots' Day. The day when colonial militia stood on Lexington Green to block the British march on to Concord to confiscate arms and munitions from the people. It didn't go too well for those patriots, but it went even worse for the British after they left Lexington. They were slaughtered on that road to Concord, on the way up and as they retreated back. It took the politicians 442 days to finally admit and accept that the only thing left was war. Now, during those 442 days, they weren't just sitting on their asses watching football, eating pork rinds, ordering pizza. They were still petitioning Parliament, still petitioning the king, but not for redress of grievances. They were petitioning to be pardoned. I have read that there were many colonial politicians, colonial bureaucrats that were petitioning the king, asking for forgiveness, that they were willing to hand over anyone who fired a shot at the British soldiers. They were willing to sell out the patriots that actually were fighting. Think about that. Do you think it'd be any different nowadays? Now, on this July 4th, I did attend fireworks events, and I did notice that there were far fewer people at those events than there had been in previous years. Is people's love of this country, love of freedom, honor for the sacrifice of those who gave their lives for them, is it waning that much? I suppose it is. When you think about the regime that's in power in D.C., their corruption, the two-tiered just us system, were patriots who gathered peacefully for a redress of grievances in D.C. in 2021 are still sitting in jail, 2 years waiting for trial. How many of you are aware they are still arresting people who were in Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021? I happen to know a few that were arrested a few weeks ago. Rounded them up, took them in. Charges of disobeying direct orders from the police. Charges of participating in an insurrection. And in the articles that I've read concerning them, the Department of Justice says that there are still thousands more that they're coming for. Something to think about. Also to think about, is it possible that maybe they'll round up a few people that weren't in D.C. on that day, but they'll be lumped in with them? They'll still come up with some type of charge of insurrection. I wasn't in D.C., but how do I know they won't come after me? Because of this channel. Saying that because I have this channel, trying to give you the information that I do, that I'm an insurrectionist. I already have Antifa posting online in multiple locations that I'm a domestic terrorist. They threaten me, they want to find me, they make attempts at doxing me, they want to take me out. The reason they want to take me out is they know that I'm not going to sit back and allow them to fulfill their plans. Are you? How many of you are aware that Antifa right now is planning a revolution to stop the trans genocide? They are literally planning open warfare right now against you because you're Christian, because you're straight, because you're married and have a family, and because you believe in individual freedoms. You don't believe in tyranny. You don't believe in authoritarianism. Now, for those of you that follow a certain ideology from the 1930s and 40s that was promoted with someone with a really small mustache, understand that you're promoting the same type of ideology that those communists are. The only difference is, instead of basing your ideology on ignorance and being poor, you base yours off of skin color. And as you already know, both of you are my enemy. I stand with the citizens of this country. I stand with the freedoms that are enshrined, recognized in the Constitution. And nowhere in there does it say that these freedoms are only meant for white men. It's meant for all men and women, young and old, as long as you are a citizen of this nation. Now, it's not just Antifa that's planning a revolution, calling for revolution. There's still cries of that on the Patriot side. Granted, most of it is more than likely instigators who are trying to get patriots to do something stupid so that they can be rounded up, paraded in front of the cameras, justify that budget for the FBI about how that they're going after domestic extremists. Don't fall for their bullshit. But I will admit, I myself question, when is things going to start? I really do. I ask that question of myself every day. How much more are we going to take? Is it going to take transgendered drag shows to become mandatory under federal law for every child that's in school from preschool through to high school senior? Is it going to take every school board across this country, every state, to make gay pornography mandatory viewing in our education system? This stuff is going on right now, for those of you who aren't aware of it. Maybe not at the state level yet, but there are stories that come out every few days about teachers showing gay pornography in math class or social studies class to underage children to broaden their minds. Is it going to take more church persecution? You forgot about what happened in 2020? Where they were shutting down churches left and right, but abortion clinics were allowed to be open. The left, Antifa, BLM, and their anarchist and communist buddies were allowed to riot, but you couldn't attend a church service? What is it going to take? As I said, I ask myself this question every day. And there are still people out there screaming and messaging me saying that, well, security guy, you need the one to be able to organize us and tell us that we should go out shooting people. Why? Why should I be the one to tell you that? So that a federal agent can come knocking on my door? Actually, probably won't even bother. They'll probably just kick it in and start shooting because I'm a confirmed domestic extremist if I say those things. But is the reason that you're actually saying that because deep down you're nothing but a cuckold, not willing to accept responsibility for your own life and your own actions? You want someone else to do it, and then depending on what happens to that person, that'll be when you get involved? God gave all of us free will, freedom of choice, and that includes the free will to choose to follow Him or to follow Him. Which choice have you made on that? But I will say this to the ones who are now stoked up saying, you know, this is time, this is it, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's start taking them all out. Who are you going to fight? Who are you going to start shooting? Who's your enemy? I posted this question last night in a chat on Telegram. Some people answered. One person said, well, we know it's the politicians, it's the people in Hollywood, the ones that abuse kids and who are getting off with light sentences, and the ones who actually do rape women for fun and never go to prison for it. Well, my response to that is you'll never get close to them. Never. Their security won't allow it. Law enforcement won't allow it. And if you ever do get close, they'll just say you're some nut job, a stalker. They won't talk about your reasons why you did it. So then the question is again, who is your enemy? Who would you start shooting? Think about it. Is it going to be that officer who answered the phone call from your mother in the middle of the night when she heard sounds outside her home, like someone was trying to break in? And then the cop showed up. He found evidence that someone had been trying to break into that home. Is it that National Guard unit in your town or the next one over that the only time you see them is during parades? Who is it? If you really believe that patriots should start the stuff right now, who's the target? Do you have a Gestapo unit in your area right now picking up people off the streets, sending them off to prison for being Christian or because they're a member of the wrong political party? Because they back the wrong candidate? If you truly do have a unit like that in your area, my question would be, why aren't you putting bullets in them? Really? Do you have a red coat military unit encamped near you who is going door to door confiscating arms, rounding people up, putting them in detention camps? If you do, why aren't you already in the field trying to stop them? But I think we all know the answer to this. For 99.99% of us, those groups aren't out there yet. I'm sure there's some people screaming right now saying, well, what about Antifa? What about Antifa? Where are they rioting right now? Where are they attacking? What cities are they burning? If they were actually out there doing that right now, I might consider that you have a point. But I don't see any of that right now. Atlanta, of all places, where Antifa said they were going to have a summer of retribution for the martyrs killed who were trying to stop Cop City. Atlanta's not burning. There's no riots there. This is after they were talking big all spring about how, the revolution is on, we're coming after ya. Well, they're not. So the question is, if things were to start right now, if I gave the call to arms, who is your enemy? Who will you start shooting? If you've been with this channel for a while, you should know my line in the sand was crossed in 2020. And yet, I'm not out in places like this. I'm not living in Woodlands camps, guerrilla camps, eating rice and beans that were prepared over a campfire, going out on patrols, and when we do stop for a meal, it's a bag of freeze-dried entree that was prepared with cold water because we can't start a fire to heat that water because it'll give away our position. What enemy am I supposed to fight right now? My line was crossed 3 years ago. I'm waiting. What's your answer? Who's the enemy in your area that needs to have a bullet put in them right now, right this second? And are you willing to put your freedom on the line to do it? Because I guarantee whatever answer you come up with, no one else will follow you right now. No one else will back you. Just like those patriots in 1775 to mid-1776. The globalists, the regime in power, are not going to give us a Lexington Green moment. They're not going to give us a Concord Bridge battle where the militia can gather and cause them severe casualties. They're not going to give that to us. Why? Because they know if they do, it becomes a rallying cry. Instead of remember Pearl Harbor, it becomes remember Bunkerville. Remember Bowling Green, Kentucky. Or remember Columbus, Ohio. Or remember Pork Bend, Utah. They're not going to allow us that moment. They're still operating against us, and every day that goes by, they strengthen the police state and they strengthen the system against you. So what can we do? Since I'm not telling you to go out there right now and start shooting people, well, what have I been telling you to do? Prepare. Stock up. Whatever amount of food you have, I guarantee won't be enough. Whatever amount of medical supplies that you have on hand won't be enough. Whatever amount of ammunition and reloading supplies you have won't be enough. Whatever spare equipment that you have on hand, spare weapons won't be enough. And whatever you do stock, spread it out. Don't just put it in one location, put it over here, over there, over there, over there, over there, over there. Spread it out. So that if the enemy does find 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of those spots where you've hidden stuff, you still have 6, 20, 50 more that they haven't. You should be going out in places like this right now. Recon them. Find those locations that you can run to when stuff first starts off as a hide position while you collect your thoughts and decide what you're going to do. Are you going to surrender or are you going to fight? And if you're going to fight, how are you going to fight? You should be out in stuff like this right now. Finding those patrol base locations. Finding those bug out locations. Finding those possible base camps for when you do come across other groups of people. Form together into a larger unit and become part of the new Continental Army. Are you doing that? Seriously, right now, are you doing that? I'm willing to bet 99% of you are going to say no. And for those of you that do say yes, how many spots have you checked out? 1, 2, 5? Think about it. Prepare. Whether we like it or not, the war is coming. I don't want it to happen. I don't want to relive what I've seen in other countries around the world. I don't want that to happen here. I would much rather we do follow things politically and peacefully and put things on track, but we need to accept they're not going to allow that for us. Because they want war. As I've said before, they want death. They want mass death. Because those deaths are a sacrifice to their Lord. The one that lives down there. The one who wants human sacrifices. But we all need to be prepared, and we all need to accept it. It's going to happen. When? I don't know. Where's the spark that's going to set it off? What's it going to be? I don't know. Nothing's happened yet that, to me, is a rally cry for us. That I would be willing to stand in a spot like this, take the mask off, and tell you, this is the time, this is the moment, we're going to war. It hasn't happened yet. When it does, we'll only recognize it after it occurs. I personally pray that hopefully God will enlighten me that when it occurs, to recognize that that's the moment. That that's the moment that future history books will say the new Independence Day occurred at that location, at that day, at that time. Keep preparing, people. Keep training. The day will come. And when it does come, everything will change. It will never go back to the way it was. And going on day to day after that point is its own battle. And when it's all said and done, the nightmares will never leave you. Trust me. Hold them off for as long as you can. Because they won't stop till you take that last breath. For all patriots that are out there still waiting. Essayons.